The point of this video is to talk about what in the world are the future Marvel movies coming out in the next year, 2 years, 7 years, million years? That's number one. And number two, will they be any good whatsoever at all? That is another fantastic question that I wanted to raise. In order to do this, in order to discuss this, I wanted to look at a tier ranking list in order to rank how good I think the upcoming series and movies from Marvel will be. I know tier ranks are trendy and really fun to watch for me personally, and so I look forward to doing my first one ever that I've ever done. And I was going to do this video with Brady, my friend. My name's Grady, but my friend is named Brady. And Brady, if you're watching this, I'm very disappointed in you for going out of state. Brady is one of the expert friends that I have that know a lot more about things coming down the pipeline than I do. But a little bit about me and my experience before we go into this, so you know where I'm coming from. I grew up reading comics. I don't really read as much comics anymore. And I really like certain Marvel movies, don't really like others. I'm a big Spider-Man fan, but a lot of Marvel movies recently have let me down. And so I'm going into this with a little bit more of a skeptical outlook on Marvel. But if you are a Marvel fan and you're watching this, feel free to rag on me in the comments. So without further ado, this is Watchin' Stories with Grady. Alright, I am hoping that I am in focus over there, and I'm hoping that this is actually recording, and let's hope this microphone is going as well. If all of these 3 stars have aligned, this is going to be a fantastic video. Okay, so if we look at my screen here, what we're seeing is we got upcoming series and movies in order of when they will come out. This is 2021 when I'm making this video, so as of now, the Loki series is premiering, and by the time this video is recording, Black Widow is coming out on the day that this video is releasing. And so I haven't seen Loki and I haven't seen Black Widow. WandaVision show came out a few months ago, as well as the Winter Soldier and Falcon show, or Falcon and Winter Soldier, whatever it's called. WandaVision, it wasn't as good as I hoped it would be. The Falcon and Winter Soldier wasn't as good as I thought it would be, but let's not get caught up in the past. Let's talk about the future. All right, so first up we have Loki. Now Loki, I've watched the trailers. I don't usually watch trailers, which you're gonna find out soon. But Loki actually looks kind of up my wheelhouse. It is a very odd looking show that is very creative looking as well. The trailer reminded me of one of my favorite shows called Maniac, which is on Netflix. Viewer discretion advised. I fast forwarded through a few parts, or at least I think just one part in Maniac, so I don't necessarily admire everything about that show, but Loki reminds me of a PG-13 version of that show. So since I like Loki, I'm going to put him in the B tier right here, and that's where we'll place him for now. All right, we got Black Widow coming up, her first and probably only solo film, and I heard that this is a prequel before she has the certain situation in Infinity War and Endgame. No spoilers there, but I'm not quite sure what I think about a prequel for Black Widow. I feel like her story isn't necessarily the most interesting to get a prequel for. However, even though I haven't watched the trailers, I have seen the look at the villain, and the villain looks pretty intriguing to me. So I am looking forward to seeing Black Widow a little bit more than Loki, so I'm going to put Black Widow right here, and I do think it'll probably be a little bit better than the Loki show. Alright, I changed my mind. I think Black Widow should be right here in the B tier. Okay, Shang-Chi or Shang-Chi? I have no idea. I think it's Shang-Chi. About this movie, I have not seen the trailer out yet because I like to go into movies fresh. However, I do know that this is about the actual Mandalorian, which is a response movie in some ways to Iron Man 3 when people weren't necessarily as impressed with the plot twist in Iron Man 3. And so I'm actually looking forward to seeing a Mandalorian in a movie. And basically a Mandalorian in the comics He's a guy with 10 rings, and he can do some pretty cool stuff. That's pretty much all I know. And he is pretty threatening. And so I'm looking forward to this movie. I think they'll do it justice, especially after they learn from the mistakes in Iron Man 3. I did kind of like the twist in Iron Man 3, but I was left feeling empty when the twist didn't actually show the real Mandalorian, if you know what I'm talking about. Okay, so we're going to put Shang-Chi up here because I am actually looking forward to this movie, and I'm hoping that it will be good. I think it will be good. Eternals. I have not seen the trailer for this. The concept kind of reminds me of Guardians of the Galaxy, but here on Earth. The sad thing is, though, even though Guardians of the Galaxy blew me out of the water and I really liked Guardians of the Galaxy, I do think Eternals is probably not going to be good. So basically, Eternals is a movie about, I think, like the origin of this Earth and Marvel's universe, and it's like this random team of, superpowered super beings. I don't know the technical term, but who cares? We'll find out when we see the movie. All right, I'm putting that down here. I don't think it'll be good. Maybe they'll impress me, but I don't think it'll be any better than B tier. Spider-Man No Way Home. So I have a lot of thoughts about this movie. I'm a big Spider-Man fan, like I think I mentioned in the beginning of this video. For Homecoming, I really didn't necessarily love every part of it. I had some problems with the movie, but they fixed my problems in the sequel. And if you want me to talk about my problems with Spider-Man, the first movie versus the second, you can comment below. But for this third one, I'm pretty pumped because there's some rumors about things that I would really like it if they did. However, I don't think those rumors are fully substantiated, so I can't rely on it. Personally, I think they might be trying to pump too much into this movie, and I think they should have either gone full in on having some crossovers, or they should have made it just really about Tom Holland's universe. Where I think they're going to land is in the middle ground, which I don't necessarily like. And I don't know if they're going to be as organized to pull it off as I would like. So I'm holding out hope that this third one will be good. So I think Spider-Man will still be good. I'm holding out hope. I'm saying it's going to be a little bit better than Shang-Chi. For me, just so you know, for my preferences, I really like movies that are more person-to-person battle with powers kind of to the minimum, or powers more realistic, rather than like Scarlet Witch, for example, fighting another witch with all of these jacked up powers where it's like anything goes. That's not as interesting to me. So I put Spider-Man before Shang-Chi because I think Shang-Chi will have more superpower aspects to it, and that's less engaging for me. Hawkeye. I think this show will actually be pretty good. The actress that is in it, who's kind of taking over for Hawkeye, from my understanding, I don't really like her as an actress, and I don't know why. I just have some pet peeves with certain actresses that I don't really like. She is one of them. However, she's growing on me, so I'm going to actually put this one right here. This is a Marvel show. I think that will be really good. Miss Marvel. I think Miss Marvel, if you didn't know, is basically about a teenager girl that is superpowered. I think this one might be one of Marvel's better shows because it's not all over the board, and I'm sure it'll have some good character development. They did release a teaser, I think a few months ago, for this, and it didn't necessarily pop out to me. So I'm going to put this down here just because I don't know what to really expect of it so far. Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. Now, I actually think this one is going to be pretty good because of the multiverse aspect. Now, if you don't know what a multiverse is, it's pretty much what Spider-Man, the sequel, started setting up, which is just a discussion of, we are in our world with these superheroes, but is there another version of our world that is different than ours? And if so, what would it be like if we were in that world? So it's kind of like, what if there was a Spider-Man but only one arm, right? And then so Doctor Strange would go over to that universe and you'd see Spider-Man with one arm, and some interesting things might happen. A good example of this is Spider-Verse, the animated movie. That's a multiverse, and that was really, really good. So honestly, I didn't really love the first Doctor Strange movie, but I think this one's going to be pretty good. So I'm gonna put that in the S tier. That's one of the ones that I think will be the best in this lineup. Thor, Love and Thunder. So I have mixed feelings about this one. First of all, logo. The first logo that came out for it was pretty cool. Pretty great, actually. The second logo that came out for it, which is what you're seeing here on screen, was a little less great, but I still do like it. I think it's one of the better logos here on the screen. Thor Love and Thunder has a certain someone in the past movies that is a girl becoming Thor, and although I don't think this was handled very well in the comics, I do think they could handle it well in the movies, so I am looking forward to it. I would say I would put that right here. She-Hulk. This has the potential to be kind of more like Daredevil, I think. She-Hulk, from my understanding, is a lawyer or does some lawyer-like stuff, and she also is a girl version of the Hulk. And so I think this one actually might be pretty good. Daredevil was, in my opinion, one of the best Marvel shows or movies. It wasn't a movie, but one of the best Marvel content to come out within the past 10 years. So if this is anything like that, it'll probably do well. I'll put She-Hulk right there. Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. So I know a lot of people really liked Black Panther #1, and I might get some hate for this, but I really liked Black Panther #1 up to a point. I really liked it through Act 1, through Act 2, but then Act 3 kind of lost me because the best part of that movie, best part of the first one, was when Black Panther was fighting Killmonger, whatever his name was, on that waterfall, and either of them were powered up and they were without powers. That was the most interesting part of the film. And then the least interesting part of the film for me was in the third act when it was just both of them super powered up in their suits, and it's like super dark and a bunch of CGI, and then the battle up on the grassy area was super uninteresting to me, especially the Watson character. He should have only been in the first scene that he was in, but I'm not going to go on a whole rant for this. I personally believed when I saw that movie that T'Challa should have died when he fell off the waterfall, and instead Killmonger should have been the anti-hero Black Panther. I think that would have been really interesting. With Chadwick Boseman no longer being with us, that would have been an interesting way to carry on the series. However, I do believe they will probably give Chadwick Boseman a good send-off in this movie. I just don't know how interesting of a Black Panther movie it's going to be. Maybe they'll rock my socks off in this movie. But the first one didn't necessarily give me a lot of hope for it. So I'm going to put it kind of down here, more in the average range. I don't necessarily think it'll be that good. A lot of these movies depend on who the villain is going to be. And so I don't want to be too picky about how I think the hero's journey is going to be, because it all really depends on who the villain's going to be. And for like this movie, I have no idea who the villain's going to be. All right, the Marvels. Now, Captain Marvel, a lot of people were like, oh, this is going to be crap, this is going to be stupid, I hate this movie before it's even come out. And I was like, hold up. Captain Marvel is probably going to be pretty good. Brie Larson's a pretty good actress, and they're probably going to do it well. Well, I spoke way too soon. I think it was the most average, dull, boring Marvel movie that I've probably ever seen in my life. A large problem for that was they told Brie Larson to pretty much be the most average, dull character that she could be, like straight face person throughout the whole movie, and she just seemed incredibly dull. I did not connect with her character at all. So by the end of the film, when it's a CGI fest of, pretty much Superman-like powers, it just wasn't that interesting to me. So I know they're adding a few other Marvel characters. So Miss Marvel, I think, is going to be in this, and I know one other character is going to be in this. So that might shake it up where it's interesting, but the first one didn't really excite me at all, and so I'm going to put that here. Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special. Well, it's just a holiday special, so I'm going to put that right here. I'm going to put it right here. I'll probably really like it, and I think James Gunn is directing it, so it's probably going to be good. Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania. I think I'm saying that right. But I'm actually really looking forward to this film. I did like the first one. I really like the second one. I know most people like the first one better than the second one, but I like the second one. And I think this one's going to be the best out of them all because of the villain. And the villain is Kang the Conqueror, which I loved reading about when I was growing up. From my understanding, Kang the Conqueror is kind of like a time traveler from the future, and he comes back to the present, and all hell breaks loose from there. So I'm going to put this one all right, I'm gonna change this up here. I'm gonna put it like this. I do think Quantumania is going to be pretty good, but I also think Spider-Man is going to be better. So Spider-Man deserves the S tier. All right, Guardians of the Galaxy 3. I think this is going to be a send-off for James Gunn with Guardians of the Galaxy. Suicide Squad, the new Suicide Squad. I'm probably not going to see it in the theater, but it does look very entertaining. And so I think Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 is going to be a pretty good film. And I don't know how the dynamic of the crew is going to be, but I do believe in the film that it's going to be pretty good. So I'm going to put it right here. Fantastic Four. This had a lot of potential for me. I was excited for Marvel to do a Fantastic Four movie until I found out that the same guy who directed the first 3 Spider-Man movies was going to do this movie as well. The Spider-Man movies were good plot-wise, but I feel like the guy handling Fantastic Four should have been someone else. So I don't have much hope for this. I think it's going to be kind of average. Actually, I'm going to put it right there. Blade. This one is going to be a darker Marvel movie. And a fair amount of info is still yet to be released, but I do think this one's going to be good. Let's just get some perspective on this. So Blade has devoted his life to ridding the world of all vampires. And so that kind of sounds interesting to me. A Marvel movie about that. I'm definitely going to rank that one higher. We are going to put Blade right here. So that sounds like a very gritty Marvel movie that is more hand-to-hand combat or more fighting with swords and different things like that, or with blades because it's called Blade instead of just super powered everywhere. Now, Captain America 4 with the Falcon, I probably would have looked forward to this more if I hadn't seen the show first. But this one is kind of all over the board because this one could literally be D or it could literally be S tier depending on who they put as the villain, I think. I feel like the villain is pretty critical and the villain was somewhat dull in the TV show. So right now, I'm going to put this as a safe bet of it'll probably be right here in the middle. Moon Knight. All right, I did read some about Moon Knight growing up, but I don't know his origin right off the top of my head. So this is what Moon Knight looks like, but he is a former Navy SEAL that is the product of a super soldier experiment gone wrong. And I'm pretty sure he is an anti-hero. And obviously look at how cool he looks right there. So we are definitely going to put that higher. It's a series, not a movie. And so I think it would be a better movie, but I'm going to put that right here. Secret Invasion, I read this. I don't know if I read it right when it came out or if I read it a few years after. I don't know when it came out. It was one of the first Marvel digital comics that I ever bought. But I wasn't really impressed by the plot. I thought it was just a dull crossover in order to sell more comics. And I don't really think it's going to be done that well, especially because it's a TV show. So I'm going to put that one even after Eternals. Ironheart. I know when this happened in the comics, not everyone really loved the girl Iron Man. In many ways, this younger girl might be a new Spider-Man for the universe. So I'm open-minded to it. I'm honestly looking forward to Ironheart more than I am Captain America 4. So we're putting that there. Armor Wars. This is just literally a bunch of Iron Man suits fighting each other. And my friend, his name is Andrew. Shout out to Andrew if you're watching this. He says this is going to be good. I have my doubts. It's supposedly based off of a series in the comics that is about War Machine, so Iron Man's friend. I am going to put this one down there. It just doesn't really interest me that much. So this is what my tier list was. If I offended you in any way, please let me know down in the comments. And if you think that I'm exactly right, that Doctor Strange will be the best upcoming Marvel movie and Secret Invasion will be the worst upcoming Marvel content, let me know that I got things spot on down below. And let me know how you disagree, if you would change some of this around. While you're here, subscribe. In my other videos, I discuss movies, TV shows, reading books, love, and just random stories about celebrities and myself. And that might sound chaotic and like a lot of different things, but know that whenever you watch a Grady video, you're going to get a Grady story. In this video, you got the story of me growing up watching Marvel, and I don't have anything else to say, so I'm going to head out and actually just really support the Ninja Turtles, because the Ninja Turtles are SSS tier. They're better than all of this, and now I really offended people. And before you come slaughter me in the comments, I'm going to head out. So thanks for watching Stories with Grady.